fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.
Hi, welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm your host, Rosemary LaChance, a spiritual healer, advisor, and teacher.
And I'm Carla Augustin, a spiritual teacher and your co-host.
Tonight we are continuing our Life Explained series, which will give you food for thought information about spirituality based on the teachings of Hans Wilhelm from his series. We will play one or two different DVDs and then have dialogue about it. We encourage you to call or email us or write to NHTV with your questions, and we will answer them on the show or privately if you prefer. This is not a religious show, and no matter what religion or belief you follow, the information we give you will only enhance your beliefs. We do not try to convince you of anything. This series is recorded and will be shown in your area on your local public service cable network. Please contact them for dates and times.
Now, if you have a group that you think would be interested in what we have to offer, we are available to come to your group and teach from this series. We will give you our contact information at the end of the show. Please visit Rosemary and Hans's website, where you'll find a wealth of information about our show and this series. Our shows are now available for you to watch on YouTube for free. Just go on YouTube and type in Healing Outside the Box to make your choices. We are constantly adding new shows, so keep checking back. We're also on Facebook under Healing Outside the Box. Please like our page for the latest information about our show. We hope you enjoy our show.
Okay, tonight's show is our 216th show, and the title is The Amazing Earth School, Making the Best of Every Day. And as soon as the control room gets the DVD up on the monitor, we will watch it.
Hi, I'm Hans Wilhelm. In my video called Why Are We Here, we explored the reason for our life here on Earth. We saw that Earth is not our final home, but a school or a college for souls to learn to love again. Today I will go a little deeper into this school curriculum. We will see how we can make the most of this very short visit, so when we leave our physical body behind, we can graduate with honors. As you have seen in my other videos, we are all spiritual beings on our way home to God. And as souls, we are slowly moving through the purification spheres toward that spiritual home. To speed up our journey, we have been given the unique opportunity of short incarnations into a physical body onto planet Earth. In other words, with great likelihood, we have been here many times before in what is called the cycle of reincarnation. Now let's assume that this here is our soul, and we are somewhere here in the lower purification spheres. Why would we want to incarnate into a physical body here on Earth? It has a lot to do with our karma, the law of consequences. Karma is everything that we have done against the law of love, all our negative sensations, thoughts, words, deeds, passions, our pressing human desires, and so on. Here in the purification spheres, it takes much longer to clear up any karma, because our perception of time is very different here. Furthermore, all the negativity that we have once caused others will be felt here by us more intensely, because we do not have the earthly body that usually buffers any blows and pain. But here on Earth, we have natural healing methods as well as painkillers that can reduce such pain. But most of all, on Earth, we can incarnate and be together with other souls with whom we have some karmic ties and to whom we want to give love, support, help, and service. Most souls who decide to come here to this Earth College stay only for less than 800,000 hours. Before they come, they discuss their future life with their guardian spirit, who informs them about the lessons they will learn, but also about possible pitfalls, the opportunities, the difficulties, and so on. But some souls are not so patient. They are so eager to continue reliving their past earthly incarnation, passions and pleasures, that they push themselves into another incarnation. They are unfortunately poorly prepared as to what they might encounter in their new life in College Earth. So now let's assume we were well prepared by our guardian spirit and have fully agreed to incarnate into a human body here in College Earth. As we leave the spiritual spheres, we are going through what is commonly called the veil of forgetfulness. Everything about our spiritual past and our true spiritual identity will less and less be part of our conscious memory. Why is that so? Because we need to be completely free of any old stuff and tragedies of the past when we face our daily challenges. Can you imagine we would remember all the mess that we have caused in past lifetimes? Such memory would simply paralyze us too much to function in this world. Unfortunately, forgetting who we are and from where we came has a very nasty side effect. We think we now are the center of the universe and everything must rotate around us. This is the origin of our bloated ego. So here we are now in our earthly spacesuit, which is a physical body for our soul. Always good to remember that we are not a body, we only live in this body. Now, what is then the daily lesson plan here in College Earth? What is our prime purpose of being here? The first lesson is freedom, because God is freedom. We learn freedom through self-recognition, freedom from anything that binds us. That is everything that does not correspond with God's all-forgiving love and all-embracing mercy. This can be persistent unkindness, unwillingness to forgive, ruthlessness, selfishness, negative habits, addictions, and all limiting and stressful beliefs and thoughts, and much, much more. But it also includes our karma. We need to undo and dissolve all negative karma. As mentioned in my video on how the planets rule us, our karma is stored in the huge causal computer of the stars and planets that make up the material and fine material cosmoses. These repository stars and planets are in constant movement, and when they reach a certain position, they download portions of our karma back to us on Earth. These portions are carefully attuned to the strengths of our soul. These downloads are building blocks that make up a good chunk of our days from moment to moment. It is like a mighty current of energy which brings to each one of us what is relevant to us today to recognize and clear up. Every moment, every second, every minute, and every hour of our day is carefully orchestrated for us. Our various events throughout the day are basically nothing other than reproductions of our own past productions. Think about it. What we have once sown is now coming back to us. This can be anything from small sensations, feelings, thoughts, to pain, illness, blows of fate, and so on. These are the negative aspects that we once fed into the huge causal computer. The law of karma is an ironclad law of the purification spheres. But nothing is too heavy that it couldn't be lightened and dissolved with God's love and mercy, because God's love is the highest energy, and everything else is of lower frequency. The highest frequency influences all lower frequencies and can transform them. Now we also understand why every day is so very different to every human being around the world. Every moment of the day is uniquely tailored for each person to become free again. So the person who cuts us off in the morning traffic is no accident. The disparaging comment by our co-worker is no accident. The unexpected text message is no accident. The argument in our family is no accident. The disturbing news on television are no accident. Everything happens exactly according to plan, and our prime task here is to clear up what radiates to us from moment to moment. The law of grace can dissolve all this karma, but we have to learn the lesson first before we ask for grace and divine help. The key is forgiveness. Once we recognize our mistakes and truly repent from the heart our negative behavior and purify it through restitution, forgiving and asking for forgiveness, we will be dissolved in our soul and also in the causal computer. But there's also the law of projection, also called the law of correspondence. It simply says that whatever pushes our buttons in the outside world is something unloved and unresolved within us. Take, for instance, the TV example I gave earlier. When we are getting very upset about some news about wars, our first question should always be, where am I at war within myself? Or, where am I personally at war with others in my thoughts, words, and actions? This should give us some food for thoughts. If we really want to get to the bottom of this. So all these daily building blocks that are coming back to us from the causal computer are karma, karmic relationships, unloving components, habits, characteristics, as well as mirrors to help us clear up everything that is still unloved, unforgiven, or unresolved in our soul. I'd like to mention one other form of karma that comes back to us and can severely influence us. That are our thoughts, all our persistent and unloving thoughts. All thoughts are energy, and no energy ever gets lost. They eventually come back to us and can totally occupy our mind for hours and days and influence how we feel. A typical example is somebody who has upset us, and in our mind we are keeping an inner dialogue of what had happened and what we should have said, what we did say, or will be saying to him. Such a thought dialogue can go on for a very long time, and as we are totally absorbed in this thought bubble, we are completely missing all the other various daily building blocks that come to us from moment to moment via the day's energy. And there is one other danger or risk we take when we incarnate here on earth. That are the negative forces or souls that want to feed on us. They are real. There can be earthbound souls who have only a tiny amount of life energy left and are in desperate need of energy from others. They use fear and suffering to get these energies. You can learn more about them in my videos on spirit possession, on evil, and on the Luciferian doctrine. Now, all this makes Earth a very tough school for tough souls. It can really look overwhelming, all that heavy stuff coming at us. But this is nothing compared to the gigantic amount of unlimited help for every challenge. Help that each and everyone has access to 24/7. That is the whole divine heavens trying to assist us in so many ways. Naturally, we all have our guardian spirit who has not left us and whose prime goal is to assist us through these tasks. But most of all, there is the Father, Mother God, who wants us back into the pure heavens as quickly as possible. For this reason, we are given what is commonly called the God spark and Christ spark located in our soul. Remember, our body is the temple of God. Without this immeasurable, powerful, extra dose of divine energy, we could not make it here because the negative influences are so powerful. So there is a huge variety and amount of divine help available to give us strength and to transform any negativity. But we have to ask for that help and also ask for guidance if we don't understand the messages or signals of the day. And the second lesson of every day is love and service. Every encounter throughout the day is our opportunity to love. That is basically the only lesson that we have to relearn, to love again. And when we love, we also are open to selfless service to others. And these others are not just other human beings who we know and care about. No, it means every human being. also every animal, plant, and mineral kingdom like Mother Earth. All situations and interactions with others we find ourselves in throughout the day are also part of this carefully orchestrated school called daily life. Again, the prime purpose is to reawaken our unconditional, unlimited, and all-inclusive love potential within us, as well as being of service to others. And Earth is a perfect place where our human weakness and limitations can be transformed into strength and certainty through the application of love. For this, we need the interaction with other people. And the best motivation for our inner work is our love for God, the Father, as it is directly connected to our love for our fellow men and women. Love for God can only be achieved by loving everyone. There is absolutely nothing and no one who cannot be transformed and changed by love. Let us also remember that our love for God and fellow humans can substantially improve our own life and living conditions. Loving brings everything into a higher vibration or frequency. It lifts everything, including our own life in every respect. You and my lesson is to love, to love, to love, to love, and nothing else. And love always includes loving oneself, forgiveness, and helping and service to others. Another great help is the golden rule, do unto others as you wish them do unto you. That is a very practical guidance to learn the lessons the day brings. Whenever we make the right decision, we feel the joy and improvement in life that comes from working with the divine laws. I personally also found the old Hawaiian teaching of Ho'oponopono a great way to get started. By saying the following 4 sentences quietly in our mind: I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. We say this to every human being we encounter. The important thing is to say it with deep conviction, and if that is difficult, we can ask the one who dwells within us to give us unlimited help and strength. Nor can we better understand that this amazing drama which we are involved in day by day is originated by ourselves and for ourselves. Nothing ever happens to us, only for us. Therefore, by taking 100% responsibility for whatever happens to us and no longer blame others or circumstances, we are improving our life and future.
So now you know why I make these videos. Like everybody else, I have to keep reminding myself that my life is a part of an intense curriculum of lessons to which I have agreed to prior my birth. But the most important lesson for all of us is to love unconditionally, unlimited, and all-inclusively. There are many books on the subject, but my favorite is Live the Moment by Gabriele. It goes in great detail about everything I have discussed in this video. You can find this little book with its green cover on Amazon. I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot to digest, isn't it?
Yes,
I
yes,
know.
yes. It's a good one now.
And you, my dear friend, have come up with some questions.
I have a few.
As you do.
I have a few, Rosemary.
We'll
Okay.
help those people out there.
All right. So it is seems like a sweet, simple message that we're here to learn to love again. But really, what does he mean by that? We're here
Love
to
again.
learn. Yeah, love again.
Well, the love that we mostly know here is romantic love, love for our children, love for our families, and basically, you know, our pets, and basically that's about it. Some friends. But we were in heaven. We loved one another. Everyone loved everyone. That kind of love, the God love, the unconditional love that we have. You know, you get upset with someone, oops, you don't love them anymore, and things like that. That's not real love. What he's talking about is the way we were in heaven and how we loved each other there. Learn that kind of love again. Do unto others, that kind of thing, you know, that kind of love. That's what we're here to learn. And when we can do that, we're on our way back.
Yeah, what a challenge to
Yes.
really think in terms of loving someone, their soul or
Right.
them, Yeah.
Remember, like when
completely.
I said, you don't have to love what they do,
Do,
their
right.
actions and stuff that are not
Right,
nice,
Right.
but you love the part of them that is part of you, because you're all children of God. That's and
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah. of
It's
course.
hard to sit there and say, okay, he's my brother, she's my sister. I really
know.
can't. It's
No,
hard.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it is.
But like I said, you can say to them, you don't want to accept the behavior. And that's,
But right.
know.
We can have boundaries.
Right, and if they
We can
keep
have
doing it,
boundaries.
you can not have them in your life anymore. Send them on their way, but hopefully pray that they get help. That's all.
All right. So he defines karma, which I have a problem with karma, but this was the best definition I thought I've heard.
Okay.
And he says, quote, karma is everything we've done against the law of love. So again, nice simple message, makes sense. So anything against love really is negativity. So anything that we've done that's negative, this life, past lives, or whatever, that's
Right.
what karma is. So do you think we literally deal with every negative thought, emotion, action we've ever done in this life and our past lives? Or do you think that it can be grouped? In other words, in past lives, say we've had a lot of issues with anger, but do we have happened to us every single thing that we've done, or is it just kind of grouped? We're here to deal with anger.
Yeah, right.
It's not like every time you've been mean to someone or told somebody off.
Right.
Is that? Do you have to make
No,
restitution
not every
for every
single.
day? Okay.
No, not every little.
Okay.
It's a group together.
It's a group together.
You have this trait in you.
Phew, right?
You have this trait in you that causes
Yeah.
you to get upset over this.
Yes.
And
okay.
this occurs over and over and over.
Yes.
You don't have to do for every, and it's not that you have to make up for it, it's that you have to learn the lesson. Why do you do
You're
this?
learning the
What
lesson.
in
Why
you
do you
makes
do
you,
it? All right.
And once you do that, zoop, you've cleared about 25 things. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. Because it really is the same thing over and over again that's happening.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, just a
right.
different person, a different form. But actually, it's what in you. And why do you have trouble with karma? You said you have.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but I think I have a little because sometimes it seems punishing to me.
Yeah.
And I have trouble with that because God loves us, and I don't think we get punished. I believe we want to learn. I believe we want to grow spiritually, and we come here to be challenged for sure. But sometimes it seems like punishing. But if I can step away from that, like I think I got a clearer view watching this episode of karma. Like I felt more comfortable with it.
If you
watching
could
this episode.
remember always, karma, the word, like I said, the word people have trouble with, but the meaning, we chose it ourselves. Just
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Right.
Say to yourself, Carla, you chose this. Now man up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, you wanna deal with
chose
this. You wanna deal with
Yeah,
this.
you wanted to deal with it. Here it is in front of you. You know, if it comes, you know that you chose it. You have to know. And you say, oh, I wouldn't pick that. Yes, you would. Because God doesn't punish. Ever, 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 ever. Got to remember that.
Yeah. So
You
right.
punish yourself by doing this kind of thing. And you suffer the consequences because that's what comes with it. But it's never from God. Remember that.
Right.
You can't blame
It's an
anyone
important
but
thing to-
yourself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay.
yourself wants to grow and move past it.
Yes,
Whatever it
exactly.
is. So you really do want to move past it.
It's like losing weight. As you shed these pounds, these things that you're doing, you're going to feel lighter and lighter and lighter, you know?
Right,
And you just
right.
float up too, you know?
Right. Like
So-
what happens when you heal.
Yeah.
When you heal, when you forgive people. When
Exactly.
when you do deal with your anger, you know.
You
that-
probably had an experience like that. And you
Yeah.
know how wonderful you
It
feel.
feels
And
wonderful.
our people out there, they
Yes.
would know how wonderful they felt.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
you've probably had this kind of experience.
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So,
Okay. All right. So Hans states, now this was interesting. There's a danger when we incarnate because souls or negative forces want to feed on us. And the reason is that they have a tiny bit of energy and they're in desperate need of more energy, so they feed off us. Okay, is the reason, is that always the reason to just feed, or are there other reasons why they come around us, the negative energy? Okay,
Well,
they're the negative forces.
Yeah.
Is it always to just suck up our energy?
Yeah, suck the energy. Plus, I think we talked about this before. If you drink heavily all the time, you're going to attract souls that had that problem.
Right.
Because they can absorb what you're feeling through your body, this feeling that you get from drinking the liquor, or drugs, if you're doing drugs, or if you're really, how would I say?
Anything negative.
Yeah, anything.
Being
Sex,
mean, anything.
drugs,
Yeah, right. Any addiction,
smoking,
anything, yeah.
anything, even anger, even your
anger, yeah.
you know, all that stuff. There are souls who never incarnate; they stay with Lucifer all the time, and they cause a problem. There's souls that are earthbound; they don't know they're passed on, or they don't want to know they're passed on, and they're like, you know, leech, you know, sucking. They suck. That's what they
Right.
do
Well, when
to
they're-
get the feeling from you.
So they're just trying to get the feeling.
Yeah.
So when they're doing that and they're feeding off that, does it do anything to us? Does it
can-
get us more riled up, or does it get us drained? Or
Drained.
Okay, so it doesn't
Gets-
make us even be more that way or anything like that. It's just
No,
but
because they're
it
pulling it
drains
from you.
us.
They're
They're
taking
pulling it from us.
out
Okay.
of you. You know what I mean? And,
All right, yeah.
When you're through with your little session, you're going to feel really extra tired. But
You're gonna feel really
You
drained.
probably will feel drained all the time, because that's what happens when that happens. And now you know that not only from what you did, but from them pulling that from you. You know.
All right, all right. And he said something about they make us. They go to humans that are afraid or suffering. So that's what you mean by suffering. If they have an addiction, if they, that's what it is. So, because my question was, but I think you've answered it already, was, does he go after people already, or because they feed off of people, it causes fear and suffering? But it's because they go
Well,
after people.
There
that,
are some people who, you know, they have mental issues, and they can't seem to get over those mental issues, and they're suffering and they're sad, you know, and they pass over like that. Now they're so used to that. If someone is like that here on this planet, and they haven't, they're earthbound, they haven't
okay,
moved
it's
up,
only earthbound we're
Yeah.
talking about.
then they would hang around you because they feel a connection with you. She's suffering, I suffering. I can feel her feelings,
Yeah.
and you know, it just makes it worse.
Right, it just
Always
makes it
think
worse.
you're when you do that and you don't try to get the help that you need, you're feeding another soul. You're making it
Yes.
possible for them to stay earthbound and not move up.
And they're just draining
Yeah,
you.
we're all responsible for each other. We are. We're just all tied into each other. If you could think those kinds of things, you know.
Well, is there a way of preventing that? Because say you are going through something, you know,
Yeah.
deep grief, say, right?
Oh, well,
so that's
yeah.
that's real. You're going through grief.
Oh, that's.
But some negative force might.
I'm talking
come
about people who.
drain.
No, not
No,
for that.
not for
no,
that.
not for
Okay.
grief. Your grief, unless you take it to the max and you just can't let this soul go.
Right.
You're just, and that actually you're holding back the soul too, who's trying to move up.
Right.
Because he's attached to you. He can't go. You're
Right.
holding him back from moving on and going up higher.
Right,
So
but I
don't
mean
do-
somebody that you're not even aware of. Would they come? Would they come around you?
Yeah, well, not yeah.
know,
If anything
and-
you're doing that's negative and in abundance, any soul will come, you know,
Okay.
around you and absorb that with you, just
Okay.
hang around you and stuff like that. So
But is there a way of preventing that?
yeah, by not doing it and
Just
by
not
getting the
doing
help
it.
that
Get-
you need,
Get the help you need.
and say, you know, I know I
Yeah.
have a problem.
Right.
I need to find, and I know I can't do it myself. I need to find someone who can help me, and you honest effort. And once you do that, these people are not going to come around
not
because they
gonna
don't.
be able to,
There's
yeah.
nothing for them to absorb, you know.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we're all responsible for each other, whether they're living or passed over. So,
Well, and then that leads into too. You know, he comments how, and we know we talked about on the show, Earth has so many challenges. But I love how he says we don't realize that we all have access. There's more heavenly help available than there are challenges.
yes.
And that's a beautiful way to say it. And And we have access to this 24/7. So when we're in a state of fear or suffering, to be able to reach out for that help, you know, to heavenly help, like we don't realize we haven't been abandoned.
Right.
You know, the help is there. You
Yes.
know, the help is there.
It's always there. We should remember that all the time.
Yeah,
It's always there.
The help is always there. And to just ask for the guidance, ask for the signs, ask for all of that. So he goes on to say we're given the God spark and the Christ spark located in our soul. Are they two different sparks, or are they
No,
one and
it's
the
the same thing.
It's
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
thing. He's just calling
It's
it.
what Christ gave to us when he passed over.
Right, you talked about that
yeah,
in another
right.
show. Yep. Okay, so it's what Christ gave to us
Piece
when he
of
passed
him.
over. It's a piece of him. Okay, so that is what the spark is. It's almost like a piece of the light.
It's a piece of it.
Christ.
He gave us his light.
He gave us
He
his
gave
light.
us all his light, and he had a lot to go around.
So does that make us really deep down? That's what makes us good, ultimately.
No,
good?
we were becoming so bad in those days when Christ walked the earth that we were starting to. You know how a clock goes this way? Well, we were going the other way. And if that kept on and on, we would have dissolved, because there's certain laws that go on in the universe, and these laws have to be they're a certain way, and they have to go a certain way. So the rotation was going backwards, and we were threatened. This is what Satana wanted to do, was have us all go back and disappear and dissipate, so she could start creation all over again herself. Okay, that was her plan, her and Lucifer. So when it didn't happen, when Christ, he was supposed to teach us, but it didn't happen that way. So when he passed, he gave each of us, he went to all the planes, all the levels, even the demon planet, everywhere, and gave him a spark of his spirituality. And when we get back, so that'll never happen, we are forever eternal. Nothing can ever change that. You know, people should be happy to hear that.
Yeah, people should be happy to
We
hear that.
live forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when we go back, when we back up to heaven, there's a wall of light there, and before we go back, we shed that spark, and it's back to Christ.
And it goes back to
Yeah.
Christ, because we're already back.
We're already right. We don't need it
with
anymore.
God, we don't need it anymore.
No.
Wow, that's really
Yeah,
something.
he did. People don't realize what he did for us. It was
yeah.
just
Yeah.
you don't realize the magnificence of him and what the deed that he did for us and how he suffered and
So
what
this
he
is
went through for us.
ultimately why you have said before that we, the light will always win, no matter how much negative forces there are, negative energy there is on the planet. The light will win, because we really, even if we're at our most miserable, we don't realize or we're not connected to it. But it's always, that spark is always in us.
Yeah.
Always
We'll never
there.
be abandoned, ever,
We'll
ever
never be
again.
abandoned. That
We're
is
forever.
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so switching gears here. I don't really understand. He has said this before on different segments, but sometimes a soul will push themselves to earth when they're not ready, and I didn't understand it, because he has said in other episodes they apply. It's like getting into college to be able to come to earth, and not everybody gets to come because there's only so many openings to come here. So aren't there some ground rules that you can't, go to earth before you're ready? He said some souls are just so eager.
Yeah,
They really don't
if-
iron everything
Right.
out.
No, that's the thing. There's free will, not just on earth, but in heaven too, and in all the levels and all the planes.
So no matter how much they're advised, if they want to go.
Yes, if there's a body, if there's a parents like them,
Right.
say they want to just get back there and start just enjoying their life and doing their smoking and drinking and drugs, there's lots of people on earth that are like that. And they usually have unprotected sex, and there'll be a body for them, a mother for them, the soul to go into. If there's not, they can't, of course. They'll just hang around the earth as earthbound souls. But yes, they can, as long as there's a body, they can come. And you know what it'll be? Just a waste of time.
Yeah, just a waste of
You
time.
wasted that whole, what did he say, 800,000
Right.
hours?
800,000.
Yeah, you wasted those 800,000
Yeah.
hours. You want to do that? Keep wasting that time. Because you're going to be, when everybody's back up there and they're all happy, you're going to be still hanging over here and being miserable. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Get on the train. Get on the soul train.
All right, so he says, quote, there's absolutely no one or nothing that can't be transformed by love.
Yeah.
So not necessarily just by one person's love,
No.
but like
No.
just love in general. Just the more love you feel, the more love you have in your life. Is that what he's
Yeah.
saying? Okay.
It doesn't mean that you have to be in love with someone. It doesn't mean
No.
that, how can I say it? When you help someone, when you give a man who's out in the street, and he's really on the street, he's not looking for liquor money, and you can help him and you give him money. There's people, young people that do that a lot, and they film it and they show how grateful the people are. And these people who have nothing will be more ready to give part of what they have than people who have everything. And it just touches my heart when I see that. So that's a loving act when you do something like that. When you help your neighbor who, you take her to the store because her car broke, that's a loving act. That's all loving. That's all comes
So
from
it's
love.
transformed. So it's really like transforming little by little, right? You know, it doesn't mean somebody's completely different.
Yeah, no.
But it's just a little act of kindness.
That's love. You keep building it up.
It keeps building up, and it really can change people's lives.
Yes.
And it really, that
Like
is a
Legos.
nice
You take a
thought.
Lego toy and you plug it in, there's another one, and there's another one, there's
Yeah,
another one.
just keep
So
doing
pretty
it.
soon,
Yeah.
You
So
know.
it stands to reason then that the more that we do try, you know, like we say we buy into this, right? And it's like, all right, I am going to try to love more or increase my love capacity. The more people get on that train, and it stands to reason, the less negativity there'll be in the world,
yeah.
right? I mean,
You know, loving, it's not easy to love some people. And it's not easy to say you're going to love everyone that
Yeah.
comes along.
right.
It's just that
Right.
when you do these nice, kind little acts, it turns into love eventually down the road. You become a more loving person. The more you do, the more you will do. It's that kind of thing. I know that you just can't be loving overnight, and you can't
Right.
fake it. And you
can't
can't do a
fake
good
it.
deed because you want to get in, you know, God's good graces or anybody else to see it. He always says, when you do your good deeds, do them in hidden. Don't let people know that you know, because when you get their
Is that the-
adoration,
right.
you've got your reward from
Right.
that. And that's
Right.
a lot of people do those things, especially today. Everything everybody does is on Facebook,
Right.
constantly
Right.
putting it on. See what I did. See what I did. See what I did. See what I did.
Right, right.
You got
it's
your
really
reward
gotta
there.
be. It's got to be
Yeah.
a personal.
It's
Just more what you
different
just feel.
things that build up, and what they build up for is not a reward. It's built up for you to be getting closer, closer to heaven and to home, where you will be a changed person, and you won't even realize that you're changing. And then one day you'll say, "Yeah, I guess I have." You know, that kind of thing. It's subtle. God's not dramatic. No flare. No lightning.
Yeah.
He's very subtle. Things nice and easy. You know. He's not flashy.
Yeah. All right. So he says, I might be nitpicking here, but he says the law of grace can dissolve karma, but we have to learn first before we ask for grace and divine help. I thought that was a little confusing because number one, I thought karma automatically dissolves once we learn our lesson. So I didn't understand why he said the law of grace can dissolve the karma, but we have to learn first before we ask for the grace and the divine help. I just didn't get that, what he meant by that. Because you can always ask for divine help.
Yeah, you can always ask for divine
always
help.
ask for
So
divine
I don't
help.
know exactly because
Yeah.
to clarify it, you always ask for divine help.
Okay.
And the law of karma, the karma is cleared up or dissolved once we realize what we did.
Right.
And then
right.
it'll be cleared up for us, you know, and not do it again, because we can't do it again.
So really I may have been misinterpreting, really to ask for the grace and to ask for the divine help to help with the karma.
Yes.
Maybe that's a better way.
And sometimes you don't even know that it is a karmic thing that's happening to you. You just know it's negative. So when those things happen to you, question it. Well, this is a lesson. Gee, I learned something. I didn't act so bad this time. Or, it felt good to let it go and forgive. It felt good to do this good, things like that.
Right.
Learn this lesson.
Right.
All this time I was doing it this way. I know I've done it so much. I look back and I say, I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah, it's nice
that I was.
Isn't
Yeah.
that when you grow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
not
good
that
feeling.
person. So, and I even go as far to say, back then, I was not as nice a person, but I was happier because I was ignorant. All right. Now,
You're honest.
I'm not. Maybe I'm not as happy, but I'm a better person. And the reason I'm not as happy is because
More
I
aware.
realized what I did.
Yeah.
and I feel bad because I did it. So there you go. And that's an honest thing. And I said to myself, but I wouldn't like. Somebody said to me once, I was very upset about something I did, very, very upset. And I kept saying it. And he said to me, if that happened today, would you do that same thing? I said, oh, no, never, never. He said, well, you've changed.
You've changed. And that's
You've
something to be
changed.
happy about.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. That's something to be
So-
happy about. All right. So let's see. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're good.
Doing good, yeah.
Okay. So, the idea of grace, I was listening to him, and I mean, we know divine help is getting help from the source, from God.
And through our angels.
And through our angels.
Yeah, and everything,
they'll, right. Well, how do you define grace? Like, what's it mean to you? I always have a hard time understanding what grace is.
Blessings.
Yeah,
to me,
blessings, right.
Really. Blessings. That's what grace is. Just blessings, which you've earned. He doesn't give someone more help than other unless that someone had asked for that help.
Right.
Then he gives it to you.
Right.
We talked about that they never.
Keep asking.
Yeah, just keep asking.
Keep asking.
And he won't give you something you didn't ask for or didn't want, or he won't help if you don't want the help, But yeah, grace is, just like what grace would be, you think of grace, God's good graces. He's helping you
He's helping us
because
along.
you showed that you wanted his help, and you showed that you wanted to change. You showed you wanted to be a better person. So that's why you got it. That's why you got the help. With all your heart and soul,
Right.
you asked for that help. And that's what that
And
is,
you're
the grace.
blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice. All right. So, interesting prayer that he had. It's, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Which I found interesting because that's frequent messages from deceased loved ones. They'll come back and they'll say that to us. So those 4 lines, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. He says, Hans says, to say to everyone we encounter. So explain that. Does he just mean internally, just you meet someone and think that? And I'm not sure I even understand why. It's a little presumptuous to be, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Like, why to everybody we encounter?
Well, you could say it in your mind to everyone you encounter. I don't know. It's usually, it's usually when you have an encounter with someone, and maybe you were having these thoughts in your mind. You don't say it out loud to them. You say it in your mind, right? And it's like a prayer. I'm sorry that I said this thing to hurt you. Please forgive me. You're saying that to them, and God is listening to your feeling like that. What is the second one?
Yeah.
Forgive.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you for forgiving me and helping me, and I love you, because that's what we're all supposed to do.
So it's not just every person, because I was getting the impression he meant just everybody we encounter, that we say it to them, and I wasn't sure why.
Yeah, I mean, if you did, I would say that if you didn't do anything, you wouldn't have to say, I'm sorry, forgive me, but you could always say, thank you and I love you.
Thank you and I love you.
Even if you shared moments together, if you shared a smile with someone, I've walked through a store and I smile at someone, they smile back, and you could say, thank you, I love you, in your mind. And you're not talking, you love them. You're just talking, this is my brother, my sister, and I feel that kinship with them, We shared a smile. We shared a moment,
Well, you're bringing up, too, like in a store, it could be each individual thing. So say you bump somebody's carriage or, you know, you cut in front of them in line, you know, just, I'm sorry. Or please forgive me. Or they let you go first, thank you.
Yes.
Or, you know, to
Yeah.
be aware, it's so important to say those words. Just say those words. I am sorry when it's appropriate. Please forgive me when it's appropriate. You know, I love you and thank you when it's appropriate.
You know, and you know what I find with those people, like say in the stores, who will people will apologize if they notice that you're waiting for something for them to go by, and they'll apologize to you when they didn't really do anything. And people who did something to you, they don't even know that they did it. They just walk right on. They don't know and they don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it to a lady once. I said, you know, there's so many people that do things and never apologize. You didn't do anything,
Yeah.
and you're apologizing to me. God bless you. You know,
Right.
I'll say that because
Right.
you know what kind of person that is. You know, and they have the grace of God because they're that kind of person. They feel that way. You know,
Right.
Some people are so into
Well,
themselves.
they're putting you first.
Yes.
Because say they're blocking the aisle. I've done that, right? My carriage is in everybody's way
Yeah.
because I'm looking at something. So then they just say, I'm sorry, because they know they've inconvenienced you. They're wasting your time.
Right.
They're, you know, maybe
Simply
frustrating
stand there
you.
looking at something and
You
turn
know.
around and see me waiting. Oh, I'm sorry. Listen,
Yeah.
you got here first. You have the right to be there and make your decision, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. And then they go, you know. But there's a person who'll reach over and knock you in the head to grab something. Get out of my way. You know. And they say nothing. So
Yeah, the world we live
those
in.
will come up. Yeah. It'll come up later.
Okay, so the veil of forgetfulness, I find this fascinating. Can you explain what it is and, you know, why it happens?
Yeah. Matter of fact, that movie Astral City had when we were talking about when they said that his mother was going to reincarnate again, and just how they do, and he said, well, right now they're doing the forgetting chamber or something like that. Because if you remember what you did in the past life that you were coming to make amends for, it would be like cheating.
Right.
You have to be totally innocent again, and your character has to change on its own. Not be say, okay, I can't do that because if I do that, I won't get these points. If I don't, I
Right.
won't get these points. I won't, no points, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
You have to show that you are a changed person. Not that you're saying, well, I don't want to do that because I did it then. That's what got me in trouble.
Right.
You have
to literally
it
do
has
it.
to be in you that you're no longer that kind of person.
Right.
And it'll, excuse me, in the new life, these things will happen to you, and when you finally make it, when you go back over, you'll see what you did. You'll find out all the things that you did do and made up for, and how you worked it out, and how you were good, and how you don't have this anymore on your, you know, no more karma with this, things like that, you know. But it would be impossible to work out if you knew.
Yeah,
like
that makes
cheating.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Are there times where the veil is lifted? You know, I mean, is that what happens with psychics and mediums? Is the veil kind of lifted and they see things? Or is that what happens, like, say, during past life regression therapy? Is a little bit of a veil lifted? Or...
What psychics really see, what we do in our life, what we are, how our character is, and our deeds, good and bad, our loves, our preferences, they're around us in our aura.
the energy's there.
Yeah, it's there for that. Now, psychic people can read that energy, and they can tell.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I've had past life regressions. That's a different thing. Actually, I'm telling them. They're not telling me this is what I did. They put me through this. She put me into this state where I slipped back to find out certain things that I had done, kind of life that I led. And I really truly feel that wouldn't happen unless it was God's grace that allowed it, because we needed a little help. So
Right.
to answer your question, I would say yes, sometimes when it's needed and it would be helpful, you can learn a little bit about what you did.
A little bit,
Yeah.
the veil can be lifted,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as
Okay.
far as psychic people, telling your fortune, what it is that what's in your aura, they see. They know, they get the feeling that, okay, this is the kind of person she is, so based on that, this is what might happen. But little do the people realize, if you change your ways, If you're no longer that kind of person who walked into the psychic at that time, 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, that whole session is canceled.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen anymore because you've changed. Your life has changed. Every time people change, it's like a big computer in the sky. They make these adjustments. Okay, well, this is good. This is going. I'm going to have to do that. This. We're all on the computer. Okay? So they're constantly changing up there and saying, okay, don't have to do that anymore. Cross that one off.
Right, right. Happens sooner than...
Right. So you don't have to have this encounter. This won't have to happen.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we're changing our life as we go.
We are.
Actually, the more we improve ourselves, the more conscious we become.
Right.
More aware, the more we work on loving others, truly the golden rule.
Yeah.
Then, in essence...
So it's kind of a little bit of a waste of money. We like to know what our future's going to be, but unless you do it immediately, don't go too far because it's very likely going to change.
It doesn't mean a thing.
No.
Yeah.
And maybe they can take something a little, but we're all psychic within ourselves. We can really tell. We can really, really, But once in a while, I'm sure there's some people. I remember going to someone when I was very young, who told me something that I didn't even ask. We were at lunch and all of a sudden just told me all this stuff. And it happened, just the way they said it. I said, oh, no way, my life is not going to be like that. It happened. So who's to say? There are times when that can happen, especially when you're not looking for it. But don't base your whole life on that kind of thing. And if you don't like what they say, guess what? You can change it.
You can change it.
By changing your ways, your thoughts, your words, your deeds.
And dismiss
that can be taken away
because you don't know. You always have to wonder their source. Where are they getting their information?
Yeah, where they're getting their information.
So are they really completely of the light?
Some people can read the Akashic records. Okay, I'd like to get someone on the show with that sometime, but they can read that so they know, based on that, what the person had done in the past. So based on that, they kind of get a feeling, well, they're going to keep doing this, and then they can base their reading on all that. So it's all,
Right.
I don't know that it's necessary. I don't really want to know anymore. I mean...
No. I take all my direction from the light.
Yeah.
That's it. I talk to God, talk to the angels. That's it. Talk to Jesus. That's it. I just take from the source, take it from the light.
It's nice to be surprised,
I've experimented with a lot of different things, but I always come running back to that. The light.
Oh, I've done it too.
The light is pure. I mean, the light is always pure. Always real.
Nothing, absolutely nothing is a coincidence in life. Nothing. And you're starting to hear that. I'm starting to hear this in movies I watch or something. Some actor will make that remark. It's part of the storyline.
Yeah.
Nothing is a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything. And you can take that to the bank, as that actor used to say in that series,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. So, law of projection. Whatever pushes our buttons is something unloved and unresolved in us. That's pretty powerful. Okay, so whatever's pushing our buttons, it's something unloved and unresolved. It's like the universe holding up a mirror. So give an example of that.
I can only give you an example of myself where I learned this. There was this woman who lived in the same condo complex I lived in. And we'd see each other. I'd see her here, I'd see her there. I'd see her socializing. And something about the woman rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm saying, finally I said to myself, why does that bother me so much, what she's doing? Why does it bother me? It took me a while to do that. And then I started looking at my life and I said, she's doing what I used to do and didn't like myself for it, Or didn't you do that when you were young, in the past a little bit? Didn't you act like that? So what are you getting so upset for her? Because she's going through it now and she's going to have to work it out. You already did. So don't look at her like that. Send her instead light to help her to wake up.
Yeah.
That's what it's talking about, showing it. Or am I doing this right now? Is she really like me? Am I not liking her because she's like me and I don't want to look at it? If you ask yourself that question, you see,
Yeah, ask yourself the
Without
question.
self-awareness, we cannot grow.
Mm-hmm.
We're self-absorbed. We're what's the other word? Self-absorbed and self-centered.
Self-centered.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. Self-awareness. Saying something like I just said to you, realizing, even if you don't like it, to face it. It's the only way you're going to grow.
Right.
Sooner or later, you're going to have to face it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wonderful when you can do it as you go along.
Right.
Once you learn, you
Right.
know.
Right. Develop that habit. Yeah. It
We
takes
got about,
a lot of discipline.
What, 2 more minutes?
Okay, 2 minutes. Yeah, one last one. Another interesting quote he had. He said, "Love for God can only be achieved by loving everyone."
Yeah.
So he means to, I feel like I love God, but I know I don't love everyone. So he means to get to that place, like when you arrive home, where you literally
Love everyone.
love everyone. Once you go up those purification spheres, you literally are going to be able to love everyone.
See, God is love. God is in us. We're created from Him. Every single person, no matter how bad they are. And these days there are people out there that really get on your nerves. But they are also your brother and sister. And their God has created them. And God is in them. So loving them is like loving God. You can't say I love God, but I don't love
like you.
Yeah, it doesn't, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right now we can't do it.
Right.
But when we get back, we'll be like that. It'll be that way. Because to love God is to love everyone.
So we
love
try,
everyone is to
but we're
love
not
God.
really expected to on this planet, you know?
Well, some of us do.
Some do.
Some have wonderful awakenings, and some don't.
Really enlightened, truly
Yeah.
enlightened, yeah.
Some of them clear some great things up, but they take on more karma. And we're warned about all that before we come. You know, so it's Earth is a very dangerous place for that kind of thing, but it's also a place where you can accomplish so much. And that's why that danger helps us to accomplish so much. So that's why it's good to be able to have that if they advise you to do it, where you're going to accomplish something. And that's each and every individual for themselves, you know. So anyway, I guess we're about out of time. Yeah, so I guess that we should give our contact information now.
Sounds good.
For Healing Outside the Box, me, Rosemary LaChance, phone 203-627-7966. My email, whitebuffalo8@comcast.net. My website, www.rosemarylachance.com, where there's a bunch of information there I think you would enjoy. And this is very important. All the teachings we have tonight, the things we talk about, come from this website, www.gabrielle-publishing-house.com. It has all these books, the one that Han mentioned here tonight in this particular episode. They're all there, and they're all so helpful. So I hope you'll go on there and take a look around.
Hi, and I'm Carla Augustin, and you can get in touch with me on my website at carlaaugustin.com. Also, please watch my show. It's called Spiritual Invitation, and it is on YouTube under Carla Augustin. Thank you.
And it's also in Brantford and
yes,
different towns
Brantford,
around.
different towns.
Yeah, that you put around.
Yep, and it's on Facebook as well.
It's a half-hour show, but it's very enlightening and very enjoyable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. We'll say good night.
Yes,
Have a wonderful week till we
good
see you
night.
again.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.
Bye.
Thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.